Knight Capital, one of the biggest trading firms on Wall Street back in 2012, deployed new trading software to their production environment. But because of a mistake while updating the software, some old code accidentally got turned on again. Within minutes, their system began executing a series of unintended stock trades. The damage over $440 million lost in just 45 minutes. One small deployment error and it almost wiped out a $1 billion firm. But here's the thing, the development team had written the code, the operation team had deployed it. Both did their part, but the lack of coordination between them led to one of the most expensive mistakes in the tech history. This is the kind of chaos that DevOps is designed to prevent. Now, let's take a look at the DevOps logo. That infinity loop. It's just not a design, it tells the whole story of how modern software is built, delivered, and continuously improved. On the left side of the loop, you have the development process. This is where teams plan feature, write code, build their projects, and test them thoroughly. On the right side, you have operation, the stage where code is released, deployed to live servers, monitored for performance, and maintained day in and day out. And here's the key part, the process is never ending. Feedback from operation side loop right back into planning and development, making each cycle faster, smoother, and smarter than before. That's the beauty of DevOps. Instead of working in isolation and blaming each other when things go wrong, developers and operation team work together, share the responsibility, and automate as much as they can. This collaborative approach helps deliver better software quicker and within fewer errors. In this video, I am going to take you through a complete roadmap to become a DevOps engineer. We are going to cover all the tools you need to learn, point you free resources, and explain why companies are offering some of the highest salary in tech for these skills. But before we dive into the roadmap, let's quickly cover three basic questions. First, what is DevOps? DevOps is a culture and a set of practices that blends software development and IT operation into one smooth continuous process. Second, who is a DevOps engineer? A DevOps engineer is the person who bridges the gap between writing code and running it live. They build and manage the automated pipelines that keep everything running like clockwork. And third, who should learn DevOps? If you love problem solving, enjoy automative repetitive tasks, or just want to be at the center of how tech systems actually work, then DevOps is definitely for you. Alright, before we move ahead, let's quickly go through what the entire roadmap looks like just to give you a clear picture of the journey. We will start by learning a programming language like Python, then move on to networking basics and Linux, the most foundation of most DevOps system. After then we dive into Git and version control, followed by cloud platform like AWS or Azure. Next comes Docker for containerization and Kubernetes for orchestration. We then explore service-based tools like AWS Lambda and infrastructure services like Nginx and Redis. Automation is handled through CI/CD tools like Jenkins, and we wrap up with infrastructure as code using Terraform and monitoring tools like Prometheus and Grafana. Step by step, this roadmap builds everything you need to become a DevOps engineer. Now that we have seen how our roadmap will look like, let's see a detailed version of the same. First, start with Python, which will take you around 3 to 4 weeks. To begin your DevOps journey, learn Python. Why? Because Python helps you automate boring and repetitive tasks. Let's say you have 100 servers running and you want to shut down the idle ones. Doing it manually would take forever. But with Python, you can write a small script to check server uses and shut them automatically. It's also useful for writing script that back up files, screen logs, send alerts, or interact with cloud APIs in Python. In Python, learn things like syntax and data structures like Python syntax, list, dictionary, set, tuple. Modules and packages like importing and using libraries, writing and executing Python script, file handling, reading from and writing to files, error handling, and basic web scraping using libraries like Beautiful Soup, Request. To learn Python scripting for DevOps, you can refer to the free Learn Quest course available on Coursera. You can watch all lectures from this course absolutely free. Or if you're frantic of learning from documentation, you can refer to Python's official documentation. Now that you can write script, it's the time to understand where they will run. Most likely on a Linux server. Linux is the operating system used by almost every cloud server. You will need to know how to navigate the file system, change permission, restart services, and check logs. Imagine your app crashes in production. You should be able to jump into the terminal, find the log files, read the error using grep, and restart the service using systemctl. That is where Linux comes in action. In Linux, cover basic command file system hierarchy, then comes your permission command like chmod, and get yourself familiar with shell scripting basics like variable loops. This will take you around 2 to 3 weeks to cover. You can check this Linux tutorial by IntelliPad or these free YouTube channels. Once you're comfortable on a Linux terminal, it's time to learn how computers talk to each other. In DevOps, services are always talking. Your app talks to a database, a user's browser talks to your server, etc. You need to know how to debug it. If your app can't connect to a database, is the database even running? Is the firewall blocking it? Is the DNS wrong? Tools like Ping, Curl, and Traceroute help you figure out this. Grasp IP addressing, IPv4, learn OSI model and protocol, learn protocols like TCP, IP, UDP, DNS resolution, port, NAT, routing, firewalls, and tools like Netstat, SS, IP tables, and curl. Know how to debug connectivity issue across services. This will take you around 2 weeks. Now that you can write script and troubleshoot system, it's time to track your work. Git helps you track changes to your code and work with others. Imagine writing a script that accidentally deletes important file. With Git, you can go back to the last working version. GitHub also acts as your online portfolio and a collaboration platform for teams. Learn version control basics like git, init, add, commit, push, pull, branching, checkout, merge, rebase, resolving merge conflicts, working with GitHub repository, pull request, and collaboration. You can learn Git by GitHub Learning Lab or Atlassian Git tutorial, which will take you around 1 week. So far, you have learned to write code, run it on Linux, and share it with Git. But what if your app works on your computer but not on someone else's? Docker solves that. Docker packages your app and everything it needs, like Python version, libraries, and environment, into one single container. That container runs the same anywhere: your laptop, another person's machine, or a cloud server. For example, you make a Flask web app. You Dockerize it. Now your friend can run the exact same app without installing Python or dependency. Learn about Docker files, images, containers, volume, network, and Docker Compose. Practice containerizing a Python app, exposing port, and linking services. You can learn Docker from Docker's official Get Started guide. Now you need a place to deploy your Dockerized app. That's where the cloud comes in, which will take you around 4 to 6 weeks to complete. AWS lets you rent, service, store files, run code on demand, and more. Let's say your Python script should run every night. On AWS, you can set it up with Lambda and CloudWatch and never touch it again. AWS gives you full control without owning any physical hardware. EC2 gives you server, S3 stores your data, and IAM manage access. Begin with IAM permission, EC2 virtual machines, S3 storage, Lambda, serverless, RDS database, CloudWatch logs, and basics of VPC, Route 53, and security group. You can learn AWS from these YouTube tutorials. For this, you can refer to these videos in which topics are explained very simply. Now that your code is on GitHub and you know Docker and AWS, it's time to automate everything. With Jenkins, every time you push code to GitHub, it can automatically build a Docker image, run tests, and deploy the app to AWS. You don't have to do anything manually. This is called continuous integration and continuous deployment, CI/CD. It makes your work faster, more reliable, and scalable. Learn pipeline concepts, freestyle and declarative, setting up Jenkins job, GitHub integration, triggers using Docker in pipelines, and deploying to AWS. So far, you can run your app in a Docker container, but what if your app becomes popular overnight and thousands of users shows up? Kubernetes helps you manage and scale those containers. It restarts them if they crash, spread traffic across them, and even increase the number of containers if traffic spikes. Say for example, you deploy your web app using Kubernetes. Then traffic increases. Kubernetes launches more containers automatically to handle the load. When the traffic drops, it scales them down. So learn about pods, deployment, services, config BAP, secret, namespaces, health check, auto scaling, and Helm chart. Practice running multi-container app using Minikube or Kind. To complete Kubernetes, you will take around 4 to 6 weeks. Now that your app is live and scalable, you need to make it fast and reliable. Nginx serves static files like HTML, CSS, and image, and also works as a reverse proxy to route traffic to your app. HA proxy distribute incoming traffic across multiple servers so none of them get overloaded. Then Redis stores frequently used data in memory, which makes things much faster. If your app keeps requesting the same API data, Redis can cache it. Set up reverse proxy using Nginx, implement load balancing with HA proxy, configure Redis for caching, understand rate limiting, SSL termination, and health check. These tools improve performance and reliability across your infrastructure. You now have many servers and services running, but setting them manually takes time. Ansible helps automate that. Let's say you want to install Docker and copy your code to 20 server. With Ansible, you write one playbook and run it, and all servers are updated instantly. It uses YAML and builds on your Python and Linux skills. This will take you around 3 to 4 weeks to complete. You have learned to configure server. Now learn to build them from scratch with code. Terraform lets you write code that creates cloud resources like server, databases, and network. Instead of clicking around the AWS console, you write a file that say, I want two EC2 instances, a database, and a VPC. And Terraform sets it all up. It connects your Git, AWS, and Ansible knowledge into one repeatable, scalable system. You can learn Terraform from these free tutorials on YouTube. You can complete the whole Terraform concept in 3 to 4 weeks. Finally, you need to know when something breaks before user do. Prometheus collects system metric like CPU usage, memory, and request arrays. Grafana lets you visualize that data with real-time dashboard. Let's say your app slows down. You check Grafana and see CPU usage spiked. Now you know where to look and what to fix. And this closes the loop from writing code to deploying it to monitoring it in production. You can learn Prometheus and Grafana from Prometheus official doc and from these videos. So this is all for this particular roadmap. You can check out IntelliPad's DevOps course, which covers everything in detail mentioned in this roadmap. In total, this DevOps journey will take you around 10 to 14 months if you study for 3 to 5 hours daily. Stick to this path and you will become a job-ready DevOps engineer. Plus, you can find the detailed roadmap in the description below. So thank you and see you in the next video.